The Sodor Railway Adventures, Episode 14, The Hunt for Henry. The railway was in not good any shape as cars lay everywhere, with quite a few engines missing. The repairs and renovations for the harbor could not be complete at all. There were very limited engines left on the island that had not either gone missing or were at the works. And with the limited amount of supplies, the engines that were at the works could not even get repaired. So two engines, with Henry gone, two engines had to pull the trains as a double header. And Gordon had to take all of the passengers all across the entire island, all in one big train of coaches. Topham Hatt was now very serious about needing to find the engines, so he sent James and Edward around the island and the mainland to go ahead and look for them. Soon it was Edward's turn to go search the mainland, but on his way he took a train full of animals towards the mainland. "Look out for Henry along the way, or any other engine that have gone missing." "I will, sir," said Edward. Soon Edward arrived at the mainland, and when he arrived at a hill, he pushed the freight cars up the hill, but didn't realize that there was two empty freight cars at the top, and they were very troublesome because of a careless engine who had left them behind, and they were ready to move. And soon they started pushing Edward's back down towards the hill. "Whoa," said Edward, but he was going too fast, and his brakes would not work. "Help," wailed Edward, but it was no use. Nobody could hear him. He was all by himself, rolling faster and faster backwards. Edward couldn't see since he was racing backwards, and he didn't realize that there was a train behind him. And soon he came to immediate stop once he hit it. And it was a horrible accident as the car veered on with all their momentum. The cars chuckled and laughed as Edward crashed into the back of the train. Edward wasn't harmed after the crash, but he saw a train that was sitting in one of the sidings off the rails looked very, very familiar. Edward thought to himself, "This looks oddly familiar," he said. "Wait a second," he said. "Isn't this Henry's train? I think I might have found Henry, but Henry isn't here. What even happened to him?" he said. Puffed away to go find Sir Topham Hatt immediately. Sir Topham Hatt was sitting in his car waiting, figuring out a way to find all the engine. But soon Edward bustled in just in time. "Excuse me, sir," said Edward. "Do you have a moment?" Yes, sir," said Sir Topham Hatt. "All right, well, hop in my cab. I think I might know where Henry is." "All right," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Let's go." And he boarded Edward. Topham Hatt, alongside Edward, quickly arrived at the crash site. "My goodness," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Isn't this Henry's train?" Yes, said Edward. "This is exactly what I thought. This definitely does look like Henry's train." "Indeed it does," said Edward, "but there's no Henry." Said Topham Hatt. "I think your hunch, Edward," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I think your hunch was indeed correct. I think Henry has gone missing." "Don't say that yet," said Edward. "But the evidence is clear," he said. "He might be missing." "Right," said Edward. "I'm going to go get the breakdown train and bring all these freight cars back to Sodor." "All right," said Sir Topham Hatt. "You go ahead and do that." Edward soon brought the train into the messy harbor. He showed it to the harbor master, who did indeed clarify that this was indeed Henry's train. Diesel was shunting around. "What is this?" said Diesel. "This is Henry's train." "Well, at least it should be," said Edward. "Indeed it is," said Gordon. "This is definitely Henry's train. Where is Henry?" "I don't even know," said Diesel. "I went on to the mainland, but I didn't see any Henry. We split paths along the way to deliver each of our loads." "True," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Anyway, I need to be off," said Gordon. "Goodbye." And he chuffed away with his long coaches towards the mainland. Said Edward. "What should we think about this? Do you have an idea on where Henry went?" "Not at all," said Sir Topham Hatt, "but we do need to think harder and search more. Eventually we will find Henry." Soon Sir Topham Hatt had just had enough. He could hardly get anywhere around the harbor, but soon Gordon bustled in. "Excuse me," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Do you have a moment?" "Yes, sir," said Gordon, and he backed up. "All right," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I have a very important job for you, Gordon." "What is it?" asked Gordon. "Well, as you can see here, the harbor is indeed a mess, and I really want it cleaned up, or else I won't be able to get anywhere. So will you be willing to take a train down to the scrapyards?" "No, sir," said Gordon. "I have the express to pull. I think I should let Diesel and James do it. Since you're a big and strong engine, we need a big and strong engine to take all this mess down to the scrapyards." Gordon didn't like the job, but he couldn't argue with Sir Topham Hatt. "Yes, sir," said Gordon, and he grumpily chuffed away. Soon it was quite dark when Gordon finally arrived at the harbor. He was finally ready to take his train, but But unbeknownst to Gordon, Diesel started shunting his train right in front of him. Diesel didn't realize this. So when he pushed his train onto Gordon, "Oh," said Gordon. It pushed Gordon back along with the rest of the train. Diesel was unaware of this. And he did it so then he would have easy access to get to the front of the train. And soon Diesel loaded up the freight cars right in front of Gordon, and then uncoupled himself, and then went to the front of the train for the express. Gordon started off into the misty night with his load of freight cars. The scrap yard located on the other railway. However, he had lost his way and accidentally took the wrong points. Instead of heading to the scrapyard, he was heading towards an old abandoned yard. On the old abandoned line, Gordon didn't realize that the tracks were very bumpy and very uneven. The freight cars were soon very nervous, and soon Gordon didn't realize what was to come. Very overgrown, and soon Gordon didn't realize it, and the freight cars hit some of it and plunged into the old abandoned yard. Gordon soon realized that his train was derailing. "Uh-oh," said Gordon, so he quickly raced back, leaving some of the freight cars behind. Gordon saw a mysterious shadow and quickly backed away, and didn't stop backing away until they arrived at Sodor. But there he raced into the empty and very dark Knapford station and quickly crashed off the line. When morning arrived, James was cheerfully shunting the coaches for Gordon to take the morning express, when soon he realized that Gordon was sitting right there in Knapford station. "Ah," said James, "what are you doing here?" "I appear to be falling off the truck," said Gordon. "Indeed you are," said James. But before anybody else could respond, Sir Topham Hatt bustled in quickly. He quickly said to the two engines, "The three engines that were at the repairs are now missing." "You mean Duncan, Thomas, and Duck?" "Yes, those three engines are now missing." "Do you know where they went?" "I don't have the slightest clue." "I don't have the slightest clue," said Gordon. "And neither do I," said James. "And anyway, why are you off the tracks, Gordon? And where's the rest of your train? Shouldn't you have delivered this train?" "I know," said Gordon, "but there was a whole mishap. There was a whole problem. I probably might have taken the wrong tracks, and then I found this really, really weird place, and then a weird shadow came up behind me. I backed away." It was quite a long story, but nevertheless, the rest of the train is now missing. I can obviously see that, said Topham. "Anyway, we need to locate these engines right now. Something very, very weird is going on, and I don't like it one bit."